All right, everybody, welcome to Nerds of a Certain Vintage. As always, I am Patrick.
And I am Andy.
And we are nerds who are here for our podcast proper for Sunday, August 11th. Andy?
Fantastic.
Yes.
August 11th. Love it. Love it.
Why? You just like the 11th? Or Sundays?
It's not...
Sunday.
I'm just praying for retirement, man. You know what I mean? That's right.
Luckily, we have the greatest movie of all time to talk about today.
I know. Fantastic.
Yes. So, of course, given our new structure for the month, everybody who is listening, every person,
all of our
listener, we might have two if my mom's listening.
Yeah.
All of our listeners.
So it is plural.
Yeah. Well, we have downloads. Like, we do get downloads. We only get one email, but we get downloads.
I know. Nobody wants to talk to us.
Yeah.
VintageNerd7@gmail.com.
Yeah, I'm sure your brothers out there, jackasses.
Well.
Talk more about Lightspeed, dummies.
Well, that's his jam. It's fine.
So, yes, we...
Who can blame him?
So, given our new process, everybody who's listening knows the movie that we watched.
That's right.
A Boy and His Dog.
That's right. Hopefully you watched it too.
A Boy and the Dog.
A Boy and His Dog.
A Boy and His Dog.
Yeah.
Dog saying. Let me see what that says.
Yeah.
A boy and his dog makes a glorious pairing.
Yeah.
No better friendship is found anywhere. For they talk and they walk and they run and they play, and they have the deep secrets for many a day. And the boy that has a comrade who thinks and who feels, who walks down the road with a dog at his heels.
Right. So is this a poem from back in the day, right?
According to Google, sure.
Well, I think it was.
Yeah. That has a patina of old timey talk.
It was a.
Sure.
It was a view, probably a children's book or a children's poem that was very well known back in the day. So the term "A Boy and His Dog" is one that I have known well before this movie ever came out. So that's what that's a reference to. They didn't come up with it specifically
I'd never heard
for
of
this
this
movie.
Obviously you hear a dog is a man's best friend and all that stuff. I've heard those things, but I'd never heard the term "a boy and his dog."
Well, I have, but
Okay, well, it doesn't matter in terms of this movie.
Right.
At the end of the day, we have a glorious.
But that's why that's why it's called A Boy and His Dog, and as opposed to A Boy and the Dog. The Boy and the Dog. It's a reference to an earlier, more innocent, and idyllic time, which is not going on here.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't know. It's 2024 in this movie.
I know, it was funny. This movie takes place in 2024, and it's clearly an alternate
after World War IV.
World War IV, yeah. I mean, this movie came out in 1975, but it indicated that World War III took place from the 50s to the 80s.
Yeah.
So, it's clearly
an alternative universe.
Yeah.
Clearly, yeah.
And then the World War IV took place over 5 days, where the bombs got dropped.
Yeah, unless they consider hey, it's just the Cold War is World War III.
Yeah. No, that's true, actually.
Yeah.
They were optimistic about when it ended.
Yeah. Well, and then they're like, when people start actually dropping bombs, this shit's overdone really quick.
I don't know. Cold War, So anyway, why get into that? But it was not what I was expecting.
It was definitely not what I was expecting.
You know what? One of the things about it is it came up on all the lists as one of the great post-apocalyptic movies, and I don't know that I would have called it that.
Because it's everybody belongs. Well, at least Don Johnson belongs in horny jail. That guy he's out for rape. He's on the hunt
as a motivation for your hero. That's right out, man. Don't start with that. Yeah.
And it's pretty clear from the get-go that that's what he's looking for.
He's got a telepathic dog, and he's scanned for the movie starts with them finding a female. Yeah. And
who's been killed.
She is being raped when they come upon her. They don't see any of this, but they're coming to where she is, and a group of raiders has already found her little settlement, and they've killed everyone but her, and you hear her screaming and Beth's like, does this movie start with rape? You don't see it, but it definitely does.
Yes, it does.
Spoiler, it starts with that. So after they leave, and here's what killed me. You said it later.
Here's the thing. Bookending this movie, all right, starts with rape, ends with cannibalism.
He didn't eat any of her. He didn't eat. It was only the dog.
That. We don't know that for sure.
No, he was like, have you eaten enough? Have you eaten any of it? And he's like, I'm not hungry. Well, of course they're not hungry, dude.
That's not a no.
Yeah.
That's not a no. Yeah, so, listen, he finds the dead girl who's laid out, and his big complaint is, why'd they have to cut her? She could have been okay for a couple of more times.
For a couple of more uses.
Which,
Yeah.
Listen.
As soon as the movie,
this is where you start being like, please, at least make the dog a good guy. Please.
Is there someone I can root for in this movie?
Anybody.
And the dog is better, but he's still not necessarily heroic. He's fun because he's snarky.
He's part of a situation where he knows, hey, I gotta find this guy.
They speak to each other telepathically, so you can hear him speaking. You can hear Don Johnson's character, whose name is Vic, but the dog calls him Albert. You can hear him speaking in his head without moving his lips. But
the dog's name is Blood.
The dog's name is Blood, and Blood is he's very smart, very well-read, learned, and sarcastic.
Very well-trained dog, by the way.
Yes. Well, as far as the actual
as a dog actor.
Yeah.
No, this.
But it starts out problematically because here's the thing: they're on a desert plain, right? And there are these pits, which are probably smaller bombs that were dropped, which I find surprising. If it was a nuclear war in 5 days, why? Unless people were just digging holes.
That's what I got the feeling like. I mean, a lot of people were just digging holes to find things.
Right. Well,
the
first interaction where the woman was killed was in a hole that led to the roof of a house.
Right.
Like there were everything was buried and they had dug up to get to the houses to get down into them.
Well, a lot happened between the 80s and 2024.
Man, that's a lot of dirt thrown up by those bombs, but I'm not buying it.
No,
but the whole thing, my thing is that
I got the feeling that it wasn't like houses, it was more like bunkers.
No. I mean, she was in kind of a house, and remember, the main female character was in a gymnasium. That was completely buried. So it's like, but let's just sort of accept that.
Sure, yeah.
Why not? Why not? These bombs threw up enough dirt to bury entire cities, right?
Sure.
But it's all...
You got to dig it up and find a roof of something.
Right, and then you can maybe get down there.
Then you go in there to hopefully find some food.
Some canned goods.
That's why people are like...
Yeah. And maybe a hot chick. Apparently.
Yeah.
Apparently you have to dig those up too. But it's like flat ground. You can see for miles. And so the raiders, they come out and he's hiding in another hole, and then they walk off and he hops out and he runs across and then they're sort of sitting on the edge. Those raiders can see him.
Of course.
I mean, you can see for miles.
He's just kind of off on the periphery. And they're like, okay, these are
the most languorous raiders, like the laziest, I found some peaches. Hey, his hair's kind of long, Maybe he's another girl. I was like, why? Like, this is the laziest bunch of raiders I ever heard about. Like, they're not like even trying to kill anybody. They're just like randomly sort of strolling around.
And a couple of random guys running down the.
Well, they went in there and they clearly killed. They attacked the woman, but there was also a bunch. They
didn't just attack it. Call it what it is.
Yeah.
They did some raping.
I don't want to. There were at least two other bodies.
Listen, if there's one thing you know about this podcast, is we gotta rape is kind of off the table.
Yeah.
I don't watch. We don't want that in our media.
If it's rapey, I'm not watching it.
Yeah, we don't want that.
That's why I never watched The Crow again after the first viewing. I was like, it's so way too rapey. I'm not into that. Yeah, what was that? There was some other show or TV show that I was like, this is way. Outlander. Like my wife loves Outlander, and she would make me watch it, and there were all these. There were all kinds of rapes, and so like she's like, the new season's coming out. I'm like, how rapey is it? You've read the books. I'm not watching it if it's as rapey as the last season.
This whole show, man. This movie was off the rails from the get-go.
On the one side, though, I appreciate post-apocalyptically, if you're dealing with some sort of this dystopian, road warrior sort of culture,
Sure.
yeah, rape is probably going to be a pretty standard procedure. Sadly, you know, if they're
Probably.
women, but here's the thing: is what I don't understand is no, if there's going to be a certain group of people that are going to
It's going to
value
be the mortis gel. Like, you gather some women,
right,
and
well,
you don't just like rape and run away.
I know. You're like, I'm going to keep this one. Something.
Please do not clip that scene.
Yeah.
You can't just say rape and run away. Like,
but no, that's what I mean. It makes no sense. I mean, Vic's comment. Why'd they have to cut her? I mean, she
was good for a couple more times.
There's going to be a certain group of people that want to
punish,
protect.
Oh yeah.
And maybe create a community. So this was just like, no, they're all just those two guys those two people, and one of them might have looked like an older woman, and then one of them looked like a guy that was dead outside. But I'm like, once again, you're in a hole, and there's 360 degrees of nothing but flat Earth. Like, you didn't see these guys coming. Like, who doesn't put Grandma,
have a watchman.
Grandma, it's your turn to watch. I'm gonna have a quick nap. We have a female, so
well, let me ask this, because
so dumb.
Having watched the whole movie,
right,
all right,
right.
I'm wondering if that first victim was actually part of the underground who was trying to attract and bring another male down. Because there were some folks who were just like those three sets of legs that were just kind of standing there.
That's true.
They were there early
I forgot
too.
about
and
them.
I'm wondering if that woman who got killed early on was part of this system to try to bring the new guy down.
So that's
this is the best possible reading of that.
Yeah. Well, you're right. That happened, and I was like, I don't understand what that is, and because they were wearing the shoe coverings, like people wear, like workers wear before they come into your house.
You don't want to get your booties dirty.
Yeah.
Or you don't want to get the rugs dirty from your shoes.
We spoil on this. This is why we did the listicle first, so you knew what we were watching, so you would watch it and it wouldn't be spoiled. But yeah, ultimately he ends up in a Fallout 4 underground landscape. Holy crap, man! They got
this
hills.
Is a hollow Earth.
Yeah, sort of situation.
This is.
Yeah, and there's this plot where they send up a woman now and again to attract a male down so that he can
diversify the genetics is what it comes down to.
So that they can milk him.
Whereas most of the guys who are up there would be perfectly fine being like, none of this is necessary.
Yeah,
I am absolutely willing to do this old school way.
Vic was like, I'm in. You first.
Yeah. And they do the thing they're like, he's got no genetic defects. He's got no viruses.
The only virus he has is a cold.
Yeah, there's nothing that holds him back from actually doing the deed the natural way.
Yeah.
Except for the fact that I guess in order to marry people off, one after another,
that was the thing. While they're milking him, they would bring in the various young women, and they would have a marriage ceremony, and then they would give them a little jar, and they would walk out.
Yeah.
And I was just like, if you're gonna move the goalpost that much, you might as well just marry him and let them do it naturally, and then
if you want a guy to stay around,
right.
You're like, but listen, we're going to give you
They don't want him to stay around.
What are they going to do with him afterwards? Are they going to send him to the farm? Is that what they're going to do?
I don't know.
Is that what the plan is?
I don't know what the farm is.
I thought they were trying to convince... I thought the farm was just...
Soylent Green.
Yeah, you're getting killed.
Yeah. You're being put into the meat mesher.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, I got the sense that they were trying to not only milk... So sad.
Milk him.
Hi, Mom.
Watch the movie, you'll understand, Mom.
Just the idea that they were I didn't get the sense that they were just looking for him to be milked, but they might actually be looking to incorporate new blood into the society.
No, I got the impression it was purely about
the genetics.
Well, the fact that by living underground, but that was once again not a terribly well written movie in the details. But they were like, we've been underground too long.
What do you mean? A movie about a boy
and
who's
telepathic
looking for women, and a dog who's telepathic, who's looking for food, and they use each other to find. That's not well written.
No, it's not.
This whole movie, like I walked away from this movie feeling like maybe I need a shower. Maybe should I go take a shower?
We see this
I feel a little icky.
We see this a lot more in the current script writing. Milieu.
This is why you watch K-dramas. I can't imagine this is the case in many K-dramas.
Pat through the whole movie was like, I hope they introduce a character I can root for, because none of these people are good people. They're all terrible people.
No good people.
Yeah, the dog was the closest thing to a good person, and even him, he knew
what he was. He knew well. At one point, the dog says that she is a she. She points out that she is a female dog.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, she knows.
Her name is Blood, and she has a male voice.
Yeah, but she knows what she's part of.
Right.
Maybe I'm misremembering, but I
think you could very well be right. So, anyway, there's the first scene with rape, and then they introduce that Vic is really looking for women.
Yes.
Because his primary goal is not food or survival, it's sex.
Yeah.
And so the dog looks for...
And he had sex 6 weeks ago.
Yeah,
and
and I don't even want to think about what that was about, what happened there. But so
there would be so much homosexuality in this culture.
There was some.
Absolutely.
Remember, there was a couple of guys that were snuggling during the movie. So he goes...
Yeah.
There's that, and then they're kind of wandering around looking for food, and there's this guy...
This is an open-air prison. Is what it is. Like,
there's a guy that's got like slaves like pulling his cart with the broken wheel, and they go to a hole, and he kicks them all down the hole to start digging stuff up. And while they're all in the hole, Vic runs up and
grabs a bag of food.
He grabs the bag of food the canned food that they've got, and he gets shot at, but he shoots one of them, and they run off. And the big boss is like, well, at least he's got some courage. Yeah. He's got some gumption. That's fine. And so they're fine. They got food, and canned food is money, and they're like, hey, let's go to the movies. So they go to this little weird encampment where they're showing like 1950s pornos.
It was,
and it's all dudes. Well, that was the thing, is there apparently was
there's so much ennui.
I know.
In that environment.
There was apparently one woman
who was bringing people down into like a brothel thing.
So when the
dog says there's a woman here, I'm like, that's who.
Yeah, of course there is. There's a brothel over there. Like, is that what you're getting? But he's but apparently not. Apparently there is an actual young female who is dressed in bulky stuff, so she doesn't show up and eat. And Vic is like all hot for this, and it's like, who is it? Oh, it's the one with the knit cap.
Yes.
He scopes her out. Then when she leaves, he follows her to her place, which is, once again, if she's from the underground, how did she find this this basketball gymnasium?
Listen, you and I are going to have to fill in a lot of gaps here.
Yeah.
And I hate to say that in a movie that's so much about sex. All right, we got to fill in a lot of like the storyline. But I'm thinking that this is just standard operating procedure.
Like, they know that gymnasium is there.
Gymnasium exists, and so they, like, the underground people send Hottie McHotterson out, and they're like, listen, go hang out in the movies, wear a knit cap, get somebody's attention.
Apparently all the dogs are psychic and can talk to you.
Yeah, because
there were at least 3 in the movie. Every single one of them, even the little one in the Fallout shelter.
Yeah, such a cute dog.
The Fallout 4, they were like, what did you say to him?
What did you say to him? they were half a second away from shaking him like they did in Men in Black.
That poor baby.
So
bad.
I kind of think that maybe that's just their standard operating procedure. They send the woman up. She gets her target. She lures him down into this place.
Vic follows her down, and she's undressed for some reason.
At this point, okay, so she's she's in the place, like cobwebs everywhere.
It's a gymnasium full of wreckage and stuff.
And and Vic is looking at her, and I'm thinking, is this a combination of Porky's and Mad Max? Is that what we're in for? Like, is that this movie?
This was before both of those.
I know.
Well, maybe
like,
not Mad Max. But it was Road Warrior was 1981. I looked it up. So this was 1975. This movie.
But there must have been sex comedies.
I don't.
This was like
I was like best. I looked up best movies of 1975. It was like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Jaws, Death Race 2000, Rollerball.
How do you think Don Johnson how does his career survive this? Like, is this just one of those movies that is just a huge...
This was in the list of one of the best movies of 1975.
Oh, fuck those guys.
Yeah. I'm like, man, it must have been a low bar.
Or, fans of rape.
Well, Death Race 2000 was in that, and Death Race 2000 is a B movie. It's like... Yeah. It's very well known, but to put it on the list of best movies of the year, once again, that must be an IndieWire list, because those guys... God.
So yes,
and I say that with all due respect because those are the lists we're going to be looking up because they're terrible. So fun.
So Vic is watching this girl and she's just naked, it's not even she's like in a shower or anything. She's naked
and stretching
and she gets
and
dressed.
Not yoga stretching, not working it out. She's just got her hands above her head so that
like she's tired.
My breasts are pouty,
And so Vic busts in as soon as she's got clothes on.
Yeah, she gets dressed first, and then he busts in and says, "Take those off." Like, okay, dude, you know what? Like 5 seconds ago, it would have been so much easier.
Less work.
Yeah, but don't yuck his yum, man. Everybody's got their kink, right?
I'm having so much trouble talking about this movie.
It was, yeah.
So,
but before he can get
the dog busts in
before he can get his rape on, the dog busts in and says, "Hey, we're surrounded by raiders. There must be 23 of them or something."
Yeah, and of course the dogs. Listen, this is where you start. I can't root for the dog either because the dog is just like, hand over the girl, maybe they'll let us go.
Exactly.
He's
like, let's just get out of here. She's fine. I don't care about her.
Yeah, all I care about is the next can of Spam or whatever.
I want popcorn.
So we even skipped over the point where they had gorged themselves on food after taking it from the raiders, and they're just laying on their backs burping and stuff, And
they had a canned ham.
So the dog is not a fan. He's just like, let's get out of here. Let's give the girl up. They will let us go. It's fine.
Egocentric self-absorbed.
Of course. And Don Johnson, Vic's just like, no, we're I haven't got my stuff on. I haven't done what I need to do yet. And so,
but they fight the raiders who are dropping in 2 or 3 at a time, and they're shooting them and fighting them, and they bring their psychic dog and
we get a dog fight in the middle of this movie,
legitimate
it's Mike Vick was in this movie. It's just crazy.
This was not I need to. Who are the folks that hate animal cruelty? What are those?
PETA?
Yeah, PETA. PETA would have lost their shit on this.
I gotta see it. There's no way at the end of this movie there's no dogs were harmed.
Yeah.
There were dogs harmed in the movie making this movie.
I think they would let them go at each other for a second and then they would run in and grab them away.
Yeah, but still, Jesus.
That was legitimately a dog fight. Yeah. That wasn't how do you teach dogs to, hey, just fake fight?
Yeah. This is stage fighting. Stupid.
We were like, oh my God,
So the big response is we have to bring in the wailers, the screamers, the screechers, whatever it's called. It's something like that.
And apparently this is the thing, they're sort of introduced but never shown. Maybe the budget was too small. But apparently they're radioactive survivors of the Holocaust that are glowing and
green.
They're
ghost-like.
They're glowing and green, and if they touch you, it'll kill you and stuff. So they're
they're the boogeyman who chases off all the bad
But they're
guys.
definitely there.
Yeah.
So to chase off the raiders, they fake that. But then later, a real one shows up, but all you see is the green highlights outside the gymnasium. You never see the thing.
They didn't.
I was so hopeful we were going to get like a screamer.
They didn't have a screecher budget.
Yeah, they didn't have a screecher budget. No, they had plenty of like nude girl budget.
Well, back in the 70s, nude girl budget was nothing.
That was cheap. Yeah. No problem getting a girl to get nude.
And so in order to save this, they're like, we got to hide from the screecher. Let's go into the boiler.
There's a hole.
Yeah.
There's fortunately a hole in this metal room that's covered with mattresses.
Yeah.
And yet there are no dead bodies in there, which I would have been expected to find a dead body in there.
So much. There were dead bodies everywhere.
Yeah.
And so they go in there, and the dog's
Some of them are fairly fresh and not even...
Well, those were the guys who I think were part of the firefight.
Maybe. I couldn't tell. They weren't. One of them wasn't dressed like he was part of any firefight. You know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine being the guy who they're just
like a t-shirt.
Lay down over there. You know,
we're gonna spill some blood on you.
Yeah,
you're good.
We're running some B-roll.
You look so good. You're fantastic.
Hey, don't breathe.
Hey, baby. You look good.
So they go in there, and of course, the dog has to watch while they have sex a couple of times.
The dog does not want to watch. Like, he's having his psychic, his telepathic things. Yeah. Like, this is, like, breeding is so disgusting. Like,
and he's talking about the etymology of copulation.
Well, here's what happens is, Vic,
copularis comes from copulate.
Copulation comes from copularis, the Roman, or the Latin. But he... Vic
is a smart dog. He's a good dog.
He's a good dog. He's a good boy. Good boy. Vic is all about the rape, but once they get into the boiler room,
quasi good doggy.
He's a mezzo. He's a mezzo.
Semi good dog.
He's not a good dog at all. When they get into the boiler, like, she starts kissing on him. Like, I'm down for this. Like, this is good. There doesn't have to be any rapiness. It's fine.
And his response, like, at the point, I was like, oh, he does not look like he's into it if she's into it.
He's like, what is this? This is not what I'm used to.
Yeah. I don't like this because you're into it.
But they do it like all night long,
and he even says, like,
blood is like, I gotta get out of here.
The second time she leans over, she's like, I was into it, and he's like, I'm not used to the girl, kind of like,
you're not supposed to be wanting to do this. I'm like, man, you grew up in the post-apocalypse for sure.
It's so dusty too. Yeah, it is very dusty.
Well, not down.
And we haven't even gotten to the underground yet. Like this, like is it the underground? It's not the underground.
Yeah.
It's the down under. It's the down under.
Yeah, she calls it the down under
during sex, and I'm like, oh, we just did that.
Yeah, we made a lot of sex jokes about the down under, but she's like, you have to. Here's another problem: is they never really explained this. It was mentioned, but they didn't really explain it at the time that it was introduced.
I would have thought the raiders would have been like, there's people who live down under.
No, well, Blood even said they go down there and they raid them and they attack their women and stuff. And I'm just like, they got that robot dude that breaks necks.
And not only that,
you can shoot him 40 times and he doesn't even do anything. So I'm just like, that. There's no way raiders, these pansy ass raiders who can't even see more than 10 feet in a clear space. They're not doing anything down in the down under. I mean, come on.
Well, not only that, they've got one. Apparently, there are multiple of these robots.
They got a warehouse.
Another one.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you just have a bunch of them? Like, bring out 10 of them. Like, they're going to be our security.
You don't need 10 of them. And robots always go crazy.
Yes, of course.
You don't want a bunch of robots when they always go crazy. Yeah. You had to shoot.
Robots be crazy.
He had to shoot that thing like 15 times before it finally went down.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Apparently, the weak point is his knee.
Well, that happens on most of us.
I know. I was like, shoot for the head, man. Shoot for the eyes.
Well, the other problem, in a post-apocalyptic world, ammunition is like gold, right?
These were things that were never established, and they should have been.
Yeah, there is no reason for him to be taking 15 or 16 shots at this guy. They could easily outrun this dude.
He was not fast.
All they had to do was
he was a slow zombie
briskly.
Yeah,
and they would have gotten away. There's no reason he's taking pot shots with his gun.
Right. Anyway, the hot girl, and I don't even remember what her name is, so we'll call her the hot girl.
I'm gonna find her name.
You don't like me calling her the hot girl? No, I know it's not respectful. I get it, but So, like, she's into it, and then she's like, you have to come down to the down under with me. And he's like, I'm not going down there, you know, because I'm not leaving blood.
Right.
And
Suzanne Benton played Quilla June Holmes.
okay, Quilla. We'll just call her Quilla. Why not?
Tequila.
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 It was a Tequila?
No, it's just Quilla.
Quilla. That's a ridiculous name.
Known for Catch-22, A Boy and His Dog, Jigsaw, and That Cold Day in the Park.
She was in Jigsaw?
Apparently.
Man, well, it seems like there was a long sort of hiatus before she came back.
Her last movie was the last horror film in 1982.
Oh, so this is a different Jigsaw. This isn't this isn't the Saw franchise Jigsaw.
No. Yeah, no.
Well, she's clearly from this underground world, you know, which is not explained. And when it happened, I was like, I don't understand what that is.
The bunkers.
Yeah.
I mean, when there's an atomic bombs going off, of course, there's going to be bunker people.
Sure. I guess. Why not?
Yeah. It is Fallout after all.
Well,
I mean,
once again,
this is Fallout the movie.
You have to explain the world if this is an alternate universe.
Of course.
Yeah. And they did not do that.
No, they did not. Although they did list some of the presidents.
They took a lot on credit. Yeah.
Kennedy.
I get that. But so after their all night sexcapade, he goes outside and discovers that Blood is very injured from the dogfight. Yes. And when he goes back into the little bunker area,
she smacks him on the head.
She smacks him in the head, and then
which doesn't make a lot of sense for her, like for her ultimate objective.
I think she already knew she had him on the hook because she left the
yeah. She showed him that she liked sex.
Yeah,
that's all you need.
That's all you need.
Vic.
She left the key card for him to get into the downtown bunker. I'm gonna call it downtown.
What is this? Sniff it.
Get down to that downtown. This is what impressed Pat about the dog's training is he's supposed to have a broken leg, and so when Vic leaves, here's the thing.
It limps. This dog limps.
Yeah, the whole way. Vic had to definitely carry him up that damn ladder. There's no way to get him out of that gymnasium other than carrying him.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. Vic
could have just and
Vic is in good shape.
Well, I mean, this goes against the whole thing because Vic was saying, "I'm leaving your ass. Don't come with me, but I'll carry you up this ladder so you can follow me for a little while."
No, he's an injured dog. I wouldn't leave him. I wouldn't leave him down there to die.
There's plenty of dead people down there.
That's true, but they're gonna.
There's a dead dog down there.
I agree.
Cannibalism is on the table.
I agree with you, and I don't. Number one, they're going to rot and run out eventually, but Vic is too stupid to think of that. So, you bring up a good point. Yeah.
Vic is a dummy.
Yeah.
This dog is very much smarter than Vic.
Yeah, but I can see him bringing that dog out of the gymnasium and putting him on the surface. So he goes to the nearest Fallout 4 shelter.
Yes, the gate. And
the little key card that was. And I'm air quoting here, accidentally left behind by Quilla, works to open it, and he goes down into a water treatment plant.
I do like the way that they had to he had to
tried it a couple of times.
Tried it a couple times. It wasn't just.
In all honesty, that was very prescient because that is the way that current card things work.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if you ever go to a hotel, that's how you get in your room.
Right.
Yeah, not with a key like a normal fucking society.
Eventually, it's just going to be on your phone. You hold your phone up to it, and that's how you get in.
I am not going to like that.
That's because you're going to be in a system. You're going to be in a system.
Well, no, I'll buy an extra phone that has a fake name on it and all that shit. So, I'm saving
have the burner
I'm
flip
saving
phone,
myself.
Flip phone?
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
I've got 911. Those are the only buttons I've got on my phone.
That's right. Well, I've got 411 and 811, so I can call Miss Utility.
That's right. I'm planning on digging. Yeah. We have no record of this
There's no way
number.
for me to call Miss Utility and see if I can dig. I don't have enough numbers on my phone.
9 minus 1. 8, 8.
Yeah, exactly. How many times do I have to push this number before I get a 9? But
9.
Yeah. But he goes down into the underground, the down under. Yeah. He goes downtown. I'm gonna call it downtown.
Yeah. We've all been there.
And they catch him and they give him a nice bath because he probably smells like garbage. He definitely
needed a bath.
Yeah. He smells like garbage.
I did like his line later on where he's like, "I need to get upstairs and get in the dirt so I can feel clean."
And here's the thing: this is how they represent this as an alien society. they all wear clown makeup.
Yeah, it's Joker makeup.
They have white face. They have white face paint on and round circles on their cheeks and smiley lipstick. I'm like, where does that come from?
Well, you know, historically, there's been a lot of different cultures who use makeup differently, right? And I could see, like, back in the day, in the 1800s, the French would be like,
I was going to bring up the French. Yeah, I was going to bring up the French royalty
and all that stuff.
But look, these guys from that society, like, why are they dressing like clowns?
Maybe they're like, I
can't wait to hear this.
Here's where we're filling
what
in.
I'm hearing you say is...
Yes, of course. No, I could imagine, like, them being like, we are in a sunless society, and we've got white skin. So we're going to really play that up. And the height of beauty is to be like as white as possible.
Have rosy cheeks.
Right. Rosy cheeks and white skin. And so they start putting that stuff
lipstick
on.
That's kind of tilted up so it looks almost like a smile. Kind of like a smile.
The problem is that everybody has the exact same makeup.
Yeah.
Like, that's not how societies work. Like, you know, people throw things... Here's what I'm asking.
I find the Fallout 4 premise where they're all wearing the same sort of overall like uniform because they are they have jobs to do.
They all were wearing the same uniform too. Wedding dresses. No, I get what you're saying. Like, this was just a shorthand way of being like, this is a weird society.
Right.
Like, that's what it really comes down to. I'm just coming up with bullshit to just like...
You are the bullshittiest bullshit. Have you ever seen Zardoz?
What I'm hearing...
what are you hearing?
Is that you're buying into my bullshit.
Yes, you've convinced me. It was a throwback to the religion of the French Revolution. Yes. That's why they were wearing.
It's just it's a ridiculous thing, and of course, Quila is trying to run. Like, her goal is to overthrow the people who are in charge, so that she can be in charge.
Right.
Which is whatever. But of course that fails.
Unlikely.
Yeah. I mean, that fails. She's I don't know how she convinces other people to be involved in this.
She's charming, and she probably has sex with them.
Probably, yes.
Because it was like
maybe they held hands.
It was like 3 dudes. Like, there's no danger since they're all sterile from being underground or whatever. That was what I was like. He was like, "Oh, we've been underground too long. Our women can't get pregnant. Here, we're going to milk you and get our women pregnant." Now, wait a second. You need to specify. If the women can't get pregnant, it don't matter what you milk. It's the men that are the problem. Yeah. Just say it. It's okay. Just say it.
Listen, you could send them up topside. They could wander around the door for like a day.
They might be happier up there.
Listen, nobody's going to bother them. Like, there's plenty of people up there who are just like off in the distance, like hanging out.
Apparently not seeing them. Yeah. I'm blind after 10 feet. I can't see anything.
You can just walk around for 10 feet, get your vitamin C, vitamin D, or whatever it is, go back down and be like, I'm ready.
I mean, just say it, dude.
I'm virile.
We've been underground too long. We all have ED.
Right. And so she's talked some people into like going along with this.
The ladies are very frustrated.
There's some clearly frustrated ladies in this.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and so they go down and like the whole thing is they're trying to convince Vic to join their side to overthrow the council. And
it's got Jason Robards. It has a legitimate A-list famous actor. And you were like, he looks familiar. And I was like, he looks a little bit like some actor, but it's not him. And you were looking it up, and you're like, Jason Robards. I'm like, effing Jason Robards is in this?
Yeah. Well, everybody needs a paycheck. So
he did. He brought a touch of class as the villain in this. Yeah.
So instead of like taking a pot shot at like wasting 17 shots at this robot, he could have just taken a shot.
That was the thing. We mentioned it earlier.
Jason Robards.
There's a big giant hulking dude that force washes him, and he's like the enforcer. And I just figured he was a big dude, but when they escape and he sends them after Vic and Quilla,
because
they're shooting at him, and it's hitting him, and he's just like he doesn't care, and he's got this big grin on his face. And I was like, it's a robot. That's a robot. And ultimately they finally hit a weak spot, and he goes down with a bunch of sparks. And Jason Robards is just
by weak spot. You mean the knee?
Yeah. Well, first the knee, and then
the back of some sort.
His back just popped loose or something. I don't know what went on. Once again, problematic. And then Jason Robards get another one out of the warehouse. Tell the engineers to get that. Yeah, tell the engineers to wipe that smile off his face.
Yes.
And I'm just like, okay, man.
And so Quilla,
if you got a whole warehouse, just go up to the surface and conquer and take over shit, man.
And of course, yeah. But if they're not thinking about that,
right?
They're like, we're a religious sect. We have to maintain our purity,
right?
We don't want those upper dwellers unless there's somebody who's virile that we could just milk and be.
We've been watching that. That guy looks good.
Yeah, and so at this point, Quilla has been she has been sent to the farm. The council has drawn conclusion and said all of the co-conspirators are going to the farm, which is code for
we're not sure.
You're getting dead.
There may be a farm in their slave labor.
There's no farm.
But
this is them getting.
Well, they seem to like their fruit. There wasn't a lot of vegetables on the table. There was a lot of fruit.
Yes.
And I was just like, what's with the fruit, man? And there's no meat. So
there's nothing worse. Well, I mean, there's nothing worse than a really green banana. There's nothing worse.
I know they even had tropical fruit. You're just thinking, wait, how do you do that?
Yeah, you're like heat lamps.
Yeah.
Grow lamps. Yeah.
I mean, I liked Fallout 4 where they had the corn, but it was obviously in a room, and the back wall was painted to look like the distance.
And they would project up.
But these guys had hills and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm surprised there wasn't a river flowing through their freaking Fallout shelter.
Yeah. This is where every once in a while Godzilla tiptoes through. This is So she knows the jig is up. There's no way she's going to be able to take over. She has to escape. And so she's trying to get, Vic to be like, I love you.
Yeah,
you need to take me with you.
First, when he refuses to shoot at the evil robot that's bearing down on them, she's like, why do you think I let you sleep with me? I didn't give a crap about you. I just knew I could use you. And then, when it's not working out for her, she's like, no, I love you. I love you. God, they're all villains. Everybody in this movie is a villain.
Everybody in this movie. Yeah.
They get away.
Can we actually find somebody who's not a villain?
No, I don't think so. The dude that was guarding the movie house, he was okay. He couldn't read.
Yeah.
Vic throws a can and it says it's peaches and it says beets.
Yes. This is the
denouement?
Yeah, we've reached the denouement because this is the falling action.
But I want you to pronounce it like I
denouement.
Denouement.
Denouement. And so they escape, and of course Vic gets out there, and Blood left him at the door. He's like, "Listen, I know you need to go down there. I can't
go down there yet.
I can't go down there. I'm going to over the hill."
All right.
Which is his version of
some unknown paradise land that you can get to.
Every one of these post-apocalyptic
stupid asses would be going there.
Well, no, they have a vision of
if it existed, they would all have been going there.
Of course. Well, unless they wanted to rule.
They enjoyed the rapiness. Yeah. There's some that like the rapey. Yeah.
Neither of us. But some of them.
Okay, the little movie town doesn't have a print of in-game or some shit. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
I mean, not that's a great flick or anything, but you got to.
And there was a woman, there was a brothel right there. She was taking cans of peaches, and she's like, "Yeah, come down into the Listen, this movie would have been absolutely zero different if they had taken out those 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Those two, it wasn't even 3 minutes of video.
Yeah.
It was 15 seconds. Yeah. They could have taken that whole thing out, but instead they're like, no, we need to show the rapiness. Let more rapiness. Really kick it up a notch. And so we're at the end. Quilla and Vic have made it out, and Vic is trying to psychically connect to Blood, and he's not. And all of a sudden he gets this weak link.
Vic. Here's Vic. Somebody called Vic. and he goes behind the fallout door, and there's blood laying on the ground. He hasn't eaten in days.
Yes.
And he's got his injuries.
Yeah.
And
Vic's like, we need to get him food and medicine. Like, we need to do this immediately.
She's like, we're never going to be able to do that. We can't carry him. I mean, you could carry him. But
you could carry him.
She's like, come on, I love you.
Yeah.
I love you, Vic, let's go. And then the next thing you know, there's a spit with a fire.
With wedding dress detritus around it.
I was like, he shot her ass and cooked her and fed her to the dog.
Yeah, like in a more modern telling of that, there would be like a skeleton.
Yeah, there would be pieces of meat on there. They wouldn't have soft pedaled it like they did here.
So yes, of course,
I would have thought this was made for TV, except for all the nudity in it.
I mean, the love story in this movie is between Vic and Blood. Like that's what this story. Like this, everything else in this is just filler. Like it's horrible, like garbagey feeling filler.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
It's still filler.
And Pat and I both need to go home and take a shower after watching that movie. One of the best movies of 1975.
One of the best post-apocalyptic movies of all time.
Oh yeah, once again, I've told you, those lists are such
I need to look
garbage.
at that list. Like, I really need to look at that list where he put this. Like, the one guy we actually trusted.
Yeah, where did he put this?
Where did he put this? Oh, geez.
Well, that's the thing.
You know,
what's interesting is you have movies, later movies like Waterworld, where the main character is not likable. He ends up being heroic.
Right.
And it's sort of revealed over time why he is so dismissive of people. It's because he's a mutant and they treat him like crap.
Right.
But he does ultimately do the right thing, and so there's that character evolution, and that's what draws you in. That's what's nice. Same thing for The Postman, also another Kevin Costner movie. This is a guy who's post-apocalyptically, he's on his own. He's just trying to, find a way to eat and do things, and then he finds an abandoned post office cart with mail in it.
Right.
And he decides as a con, just to pretend that he's a postman. Right. And he tells everybody that they're starting to rebuild the country and that he's there to deliver the mail. Yeah. And he gets, food, and people treat him nice, and they even ask him to have sex with somebody's wife because because the guy is barren. And I mean, why not? Why wouldn't you? But over time, as people kind of flock to his cause, he realizes that he's created a movement and he doesn't want to fail that, and so he grows as a person, and he's willing to sacrifice himself. Like he doesn't let his younger riders go into dangerous territories. He keeps trying to take every run because he doesn't want them to get hurt. And so at first he's an asshole, but he grows.
There's none of that.
Yeah, Vic doesn't grow much. Yeah, there's not much growth with Vic.
Aside from being like, I will sacrifice.
I will feed the dog.
I'll sacrifice some. Use whatever word you want to use for the sex.
Yeah.
Like, I'll sacrifice that.
Yeah.
For my dog. Like, that's what it comes down to.
I'd rather have my dog than sex.
Yes.
And that's growth. That is actually growth. Okay, yeah. Gross. Okay, growth. I take it all back. I don't take any of it back.
I would think
that's minimal amount of growth.
I would think that Vic. Listen, Vic and his dog could go down and kind of run rampant through the Down Under. Like, it fits both of their needs. Like, the dog would get plenty of food. Mm-hmm. Vic would get plenty of women. And he would just be like, I'm going to take out the council and I'm going to be in charge. Like, everything. Like, that's how this movie shows. Yeah. If you want to show anything.
That super strong robot never walks more than a fast walk, goes faster than a fast walk. I can outrun him.
Yeah. So I looked at the best apocalyptic movies, post-apocalyptic, like that
list we looked at.
That list?
Yep.
Where do you think A Boy and His Dog falls on this? This is the good list. This is the list that we were like, yeah, this guy's got it right.
10.
Number 11.
Okay.
Yeah. Here's what he says. It's 2024! Exclamation point. But a version where the United States is recovering from all of the tropey effects of nuclear war. Among the survivors is a sex-obsessed 18-year-old boy named Vic and his telepathic dog Blood. Sounds kind of cute, right? It's not. Vic is a rapist, and Blood helps him find women in exchange for food. There are also other armed scavengers, mutants, an android, as well as a city of people wearing whiteface underground who extract semen from studs above ground to repopulate the earth. It's a sick, twisted world that only gets sicker. Vic's only consensual sexual partner in the film, Quilla June, asks him to leave the wounded Blood behind in the closing minutes after Vic saves her from the white-faced savages. Vic doesn't take that well, kills Quilla June off-screen, and feeds her to Blood to keep him alive and continue their journey. What a wild movie, start to finish.
Wild is one term for it.
So, here's the next thing. How did I get here? I'm joining this fucked up world as a rival scavenger to Vic. The mutants, the androids, and the white-faced people. You really can't trust anyone.
Yeah.
What's the game plan? What's your game plan in this world? How do you survive? I even asked you during the film, are you on your own, or do you join a group? What do you do?
I would start a group. I wouldn't join a group unless I got a super.
You want to be the guy who's being on, got the toilet on the.
Not like that. That's what I mean. Is I feel like a group that's cooperative is better, but you have to be a pretty good judge of character, and I'm a decent judge of character. Like the young woman that got murdered early on, and her group, they obviously need someone who will set up a perimeter.
Yeah.
And they seem they seem
strategy is not the
they seem completely helpless. So they were probably pretty nice people, you know. And I think this is the thing about the movie that is also ridiculous, is that there becomes no community structure. Even the little movie fortress is no community structure. It's all just like redneck jackasses watching a porno and fighting with each other. And you know, you can kind of that was where George Miller's Road Warrior scenario changed the thing. There were communities. Yeah. Like even the Lord Humongous. I mean, he had a group that followed him. They kind of gotten together, and that's the thing. Once again, this movie sort of disregards the fact that there's still gasoline, there's still cars around. I mean, someone's eventually gonna.
Were there cars around though?
Someone's eventually gonna dig up a fucking car. You know what I mean?
And a Chevron station.
Well, potentially, yeah. There's probably a tank under there that's got gas in it or something like that. It's just, it acts like all technology except for a scratchy porno film is gone, and guns. Yeah. And once again, where are the bullets coming from?
Well, in this particular article, it says, "What's the game plan? I'm avoiding Vic at all costs." That kid is trouble.
Yeah.
I'm doing whatever research I can to get a telepathic dog like Blood, because that is quite the cheat code. I also think I'm avoiding any and all attractive women, knowing there's a good chance they're from down under.
Well, he learns that because he watched the movie. He would know that.
Vic trusted Quilla June, and he woke up naked in a bath with a dude scrubbing his body and a crowd of white-faced people watching him.
Exactly.
All right, so what do you think the movies are, like, number 12 and number 10? This is number 11 on his list. What do you think?
Well, once again, I don't remember the list terribly well. Snowpiercer and...
These are both two movies you have seen.
Yeah, well, I've seen Snowpiercer and Escape from New York.
Nailed it.
Oh, really?
Nailed it. 12 is Snowpiercer. Number 10 is Escape from New York.
Okay, got it.
Nailed it. I don't need. What else can I say?
No. That was my psychic powers kicking in. Thanks, Blood.
Thanks, Blood. Where's Tippy?
Yeah,
Tippy, are you talking to?
Are you telling him? Are you behind him, looking at his screen and telling me what's going on?
Telling you the difference between who and whom.
But I would put Snowpiercer higher than this. Snowpiercer, as much as
there's a lot of these movies I would put a lot higher.
As much as I talk trash about the ridiculousness of the train concept, I appreciate that. Watch our short on YouTube. We figured out how complex the thought process was, and if you're gonna,
it's just building on it.
If you're gonna do a metaphor about the stratification of society, the train's the way you got to go. We figured that out in our own discussion. Buildings aren't going to work.
No, this movie was ridiculous, and I need a bath. I need a shower.
Well,
like I need a Vic bath where the dude is just scrubbing him.
exactly.
like
an android scrub with a smile on his face. I'm still glad we watched it because it is one of those movies that shows up on a lot of lists, and I'm just like, what is that? I don't know what that is, but now I know.
Still better than Eraserhead, like by a like.
I'm not going to give that to you.
No,
Eraserhead had something to it.
No, listen. At the end of the day, am I going to? Like, it's very hard for me to put Rapey the movie on, fairly high on our lists. Like
any movie starring Vic McRapey, you know.
Yeah, and I'm just like I've talked to you about this. If I'm watching a movie, I want to have somebody to root for. Like I can't root for Vic because he's just like he is Porky's personified. Like that is the dude. Like
exactly. He's looking through a hole in the girl's shower, and yet still waits for her to get dressed before he breaks in.
Oh, I need to see her naked. I don't want her to enjoy this.
Oh my God, she put granny panties on. I better break in there now.
No, the whole thing was
badly conceived.
Well, here's the one thing I can say. Mm-hmm. I am so happy, like this whole experience.
Yeah,
I am so happy that my daughter agreed not to watch this movie with us.
Exactly.
This would have been the movie where it would have broken me.
Yeah,
it would have been like, Verity, you gotta go.
She may have been leaning over to you and like, aren't you uncomfortable watching this with your daughter, like you do to her?
I would have definitely
been like, you are right. I am uncomfortable with this.
I can't even root for a dog in this movie. Like, come on. Jesus. So, yes.
All right.
Where are we on the mic scale? This is low on the mic scale.
This is low on the mic scale, yeah.
Are we glad that we watched this?
I'm glad that we watched it because it is...
it's a check mark?
Yes,
like we've done and done her?
That's it. Never watching it again.
No, I will never watch this again either.
No interest. But if anyone says, have you ever watched A Boy and His Dog? I'll be like, yeah, saw it. Yeah. Check it.
What do you think? And I'll be like...
What did you like? You know, I didn't like it, but the rape was good.
If you're a fan of rape, 2 thumbs up. Jeez, that's how you like sort your friend group.
Yeah.
Like, who likes this movie and who doesn't?
So what I'm hearing from you is that we're not going to be friends anymore. Is what I'm hearing.
Yeah. And you're not touching my drink.
Exactly. Never. I have never.
I'm going to get my own beer.
I'm never taking a beer from your hand ever again.
Jesus. All right. Well. Oh Lord. Thanks, Mom. Bye.
Volume.
Oh my God, nerds! Wrap it up.
It's the best.
Yeah, so she is. She is the best. I love my wife. I love my dog. I love everything. Please, please don't take me to the.
Don't judge us for watching this movie and talking about it.
Yeah, number 11 on a list. Bullshit.
Yep.
Yes. All right. Well, anyway, the dame has spoken, so it is time for us to wrap it up. As always, I have been Patrick,
and I have been Blood.
No, you have not.
Blood.
You're only
Vic.
saying that mentally.
I'm not Vic. No.
Aquila?
No. There's no one in this movie I'm going to be. No.
Definitely not going to be. Definitely not going to be anybody in this.
You guys are weird.